And I'm going to steal a page from Chris Berman's playbook this time, because it's not only Earth Day, but it's perhaps more appropriate to call it Rare Earth Day, because all over the country, young men just want to celebrate, because finally, the day has come when there will be a realization of a dream, the dream to become professional football players. But the dream doesn't always turn out as everyone would hope it would. This, then, is the story of one man for whom the dream just turned into a nightmare, the story of Charlie Wysocki. This is Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, a town of 55,000 people nestled in a valley gouged through the Pocono Mountains and hard by the Susquehanna River. It is a place where the old men will deal a hand or two on a sunny day, where the farmers still peddle their bounty in the town square. A place where a person like Charlie Wysocki can become a legend.
He was an all-state football player and won a state championship in wrestling and won the broad jump, and I think he won the long jump in track, so he had 2 state medals. So that's quite an athletic career. You don't see that duplicated very often.
But it wasn't sports alone that made Charlie's story so compelling. He was one of 14 children, troubled, poor, and black in this predominantly white area. So when Charlie de Graffenried was adopted by the Wysocki family, the phenom became a curiosity. His football talents landed him at the University of Maryland, where as a junior, he was one of the top running backs in the country.
He was a leader. I mean, out in practice, every time he got the ball, he would try to run for a touchdown, whether it's dummy scrimmage or what. He would run across the goal line. He liked to get used to, he said he liked to get used to crossing the goal line. And so he set an example with his work habits.
So then it wasn't surprising that despite injuries and a less than spectacular senior year, come draft day, some 300 friends gathered in anticipation to witness the local legend's ascendancy to the pros. Only his name was never called.
I think Charlie just went upstairs and laid on his bed up there, and I went up there, try to comfort him and try to, tell him, well, something will happen, and you just have to take things in life as it comes. Sometimes your dreams aren't fulfilled. And
there was a tryout with the Dallas Cowboys as a free agent, but it lasted just 1 week. Something was wrong.
I knew that I was sick. I knew that there was, I was thinking, maybe someone, slipped me something or something like that, but I was just not myself.
And then just a few months later, things got really bad.
I went out and I got myself a case of beer, drank a case of beer, and I slipped my wrist. I was trying. I was in so much agony. I just didn't want to live anymore.
This is the State Hospital in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania. For the course of the next 7 years, Charlie would spend more than half of his days and nights in institutions like this one, including this one. Matter of fact, during that time period, Charlie thinks he was admitted to hospitals between 10 and 15 different occasions, although he's not exactly sure how many times it was. He was diagnosed as being a manic depressive. Now, that's a disease that's characterized by wild mood swings, everything from the highest highs to the deepest depressions, and everything in between.
I think that the last 7 years has been hell for me.
I've seen Charlie at times when he was hospitalized, where you couldn't talk to him, where he couldn't talk to you, he couldn't understand what you were saying. He just made absolutely no sense at all. He was very psychotic.
The end of Charlie's football career and the beginning of his erratic behavior seemed to coincide. Could there possibly have been a connection?
No, I don't think anybody thought he had a mental problem at the time, and I don't think Charlie had a mental problem at the time. I think it was the period of adjustment of going from a star in college, which he was, to somebody that his life all of a sudden changed to just a common person.
What do you attribute the onset of his manic depression to?
It probably was the trauma of not achieving his life goal at that time, which was to play pro football.
So 7 years later, Charlie carries on his life in Wilkes-Barre, half a world away from the riches and fame of pro football. He has his own family now, the disease and the volatile behavior it caused having driven him away from the Wysockis. He hasn't been in the hospital for 4 months, He is back on his medication, and now the goal lines he works to cross are different.
I learned so much about not just people who were manic depressives, but I learned so much about other illnesses, you know, people who were just in the mental hospitals, per se. And, you know, in the future, you know, like, I know that somewhere in the future I'm going to be able to help the mental health system.
The same tenacity that helped Charlie to such distinction on the football field, we hope will aid him in this latest goal. But it's perhaps useful to remember on this day of such joy for so many that dreams don't always come true. Chris?
All right, Jimmy, thank you. That's something for everybody to think about. It is Earth Day, but at times, on a day like today, you are brought down to earth. We'll be back with more of the NFL Draft right after this.